What's going on, guys and girls? Welcome back to another episode on the Falcon YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing very well. So as you can see that we've got a tune playing in the background. This is actually something we just launched. So before we get into the episode, just a real quick one. So we've been working really hard on this behind the scenes. And as you know, being in the flow state, being in the right mindset is so important. As certain tunes, beats helps us get into that flow state and that frame of mind. So what we've done is we've created a 24/7 live stream so you can tune into. You want to study, you want to back test, whatever it may be, something that you've got that you can tune into on a regular basis. So definitely go and check that out. We're going to link that for you. But yeah, really happy with it, and let me know your thoughts. But without further ado, this episode. So what is this episode about? Well, I'm literally just about to get into the midweek market review. This is the kind of time, for those of you that don't know, that are from the outside in, every single Wednesday, I do a midweek market review. The opportunities that we're seeing in the market right now is crazy. The recent momentum that we've seen is just phenomenal. It looks like it's going to continue and continue. Last week was solid. This week is already solid. Naturally, there's going to be a more frequency and increase of frequency of trades that we take, and just it's proving to be so well. So I'm really looking forward to capitalizing on more of these trades. So right now I'm about to dive into the midweek, let the guys know what I'm looking at, trades that I've taken, things that I'm looking at, that I'm eyeing up, that a few things are shaping up very soon as well. Yen pairs, I mean pound dollar right now is looking super nice. Just overall, we've got that solid momentum to the downside. So pound dollar is going to be a really nice play. Look at the momentum that we're seeing here, especially if we close anywhere remotely like this on the daily chart, it's going to be crazy stuff. But yeah, I'm about to get into that, and then we have the E-Meetup tonight. So the point of this episode is this. Tonight we've got an E-Meetup, and I wanted to show you a little bit more behind the scenes, what kind of goes on in the E-Meetup, hopefully catch some really good conversations, as we always like to engage with our community. And that's the thing that I want to mention. Remember, strategy can only take you to a certain amount, right? It can only take you so far. It's your mindset that's going to take you further. And what's going to take you even further with all of that is the people that are around you, people that are going to support you. Because look, it's not going to be, in your toughest times, a technical glitch that's going to help you get to that next level. I mean, of course, there's always areas to improve and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's what takes us further is the people that are around us, people that are pushing us, telling us what we need to hear, right? Not what we want to hear all the time. And this is why I'm so passionate about these type of things, engaging with the community, hearing people's stories. Sometimes people have some struggles, and then we can give our recommendations from our experience and from our successful students, things that they've gone through sometimes recently as well. So it's always a fun time. Can't wait to get into it, and hopefully you find it valuable and insightful. Curious to hear from Benny, from yourself, right? So for those that have just come into the E-Meetup for the first time, maybe not heard you talk about it, right? So you're probably one of the only ones that I know that's done it the non-conventional way, if you like, or the traditional route of just scaling up of your own account. How did you have any moments like that of when you felt like, right, I'm making some money now, let's go and buy that car or this house and stuff like that? How did you manage that when you're trying to compound the account?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a little different. I didn't have any like what Ib was talking about before, where you go like 10x or 50x your money. So, in terms of like a psychological aspect for leveling up capital, I just had a process in place. I was lucky enough to be around people who suggested that. So, I never tried to go full capital or anything too quickly. But I think the biggest like disconnection most traders kind of have is the fact that they work their whole life for like, for me, it was like physical work equals money. And then when I started to make money trading, it almost felt like, I don't want to say printing money, but it was like there was no exchange there for that money. It was just literally pressing a button and then receiving the money. So to me, that took a little bit, because I deemed it as, when I worked hard in terms of physically for money, I earned it. But then when I made it trading, I didn't earn it. So it had a different value in terms of I would spend it more, I would be more relaxed with it. I would think more would just come in. So from that point, yes. But in terms of like actual psychological things, I was quite fortunate. I didn't have a lot of issues with anything. Similar to Abdu, like the 100K mark is when you can be like, oh, you know, that's when you start adding up your expenses and understanding, you know, how you want to do it, if you can actually go full time or anything like that. But then once you get past that little barrier, and I think I was, not lucky in a way, because to be honest, I didn't really know many of the prop firms or anything like that were out back then. But it was more that realizing the connection of the hard work in terms of not actual physical work for me was the biggest thing.
Yeah, see, it's different psychological things between everyone. That's why trading is such a fascinating game that you literally don't know what's going to prop up. It demands so much from you, doesn't it? I remember Benny, like we've known each other for what, like five and a bit years now. And even then we was talking about, I remember talking about scale there when we was in the Gold Coast. It's like so cool to see all that transition, and yourself as well, just keep leveling up every single year, which is, really cool to see. Curious to hear from anybody else. Anybody got any questions, by the way, or anything they want to share? Any recent breakthroughs they've had? Any kind of thoughts or cognitions? Anyone that's not actually spoken before who wants to?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me?
Here he is. How's it going,
Yeah,
Alex?
I'm here. Yeah, I'm good. I guess I would just say like different emotions I've been feeling recently. I guess I only joined the community in January, so at the beginning of the year, and so it's been not a huge amount of time, but having obviously the community to help me, all of the coaches, you Mark as well, it's been really, really good. And I think this week was a little bit hard. I was dealing with some FOMO, which I've never really dealt with before. So in a way it was kind of like hard, but then exciting at the same time because I haven't felt that feeling before. So I was like, okay, let me try and get over this, see what I can do. And I took a couple losses, and you don't realize how much that can actually affect you in the week alone. I'm new to this, so I'm expected to feel all these different emotions. So, and I'm happy to feel them. It's just, if you guys have any advice with FOMO itself, I'd love to hear it, because that is what I'm dealing with right now.
Definitely. I think it's just too early on to even deal with it. Like this is normal.
Yeah, for sure.
Like FOMO, you got to think about it. Every single trader will have to deal with FOMO, right? Because at one point you're going to see something that goes without you. Like what trader hasn't dealt with that? And it's not the losses, it's the untapped potential of being involved in it. Or if you take a loss right before it and then another trade goes, you're like, why wasn't I just not in that trade? And then it just creeps in. So these are all psychological things. I would say if someone's been doing it for like 2-3 years and you're still dealing with it, it's a different avenue that you go down. But for yourself, so early on, just embrace it. I would look at it as a massive positive, that if you looked at those trades that went and you're like, oh, I don't understand how that played out, that's when it's like, okay, that's a little bit more difficult to deal with. But well, let me ask you, were the trades that played out that, let's say, you didn't get involved in, did you understand how you could have got involved?
Yeah, so there'd be a couple missed trades, and I feel like my emotions when I see them, the main thing for me, I'm happy the fact that I don't feel super down when I do take a loss or I do miss a position. I just kind of look back, analyze it, ASR it, and keep it moving.
Yeah, nothing better than live market experience. Honestly, like nothing better than it. So being so early on in the journey and having those, again, just the good thing is, being early, you can adopt those trading mantras and like be really, really solid with them. Like simple things that seem like underrated. There's always another great trade. It's like that can just be thrown out as if like, yeah, like what's that really going to do? A lot. When you're saying that 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, and it's actually in your mind the next time something goes, and you're able to be cool, calm, collected, say, yes, fine, there's always going to be another trade. That is a big, big difference between someone who goes down a slippery slope of revenge trading, taking loads of trades, versus someone like yourself that has built that up, that you're not feeling overly down or too much FOMO and then deviating from your plan and going, right, I need to make this back now. We already know the statistics. People blow their accounts in 90 days, right? So we know that happens. So the fact that so many of you are not even in that category, that you can stick to risk and allow these emotions to come in, you're in a much better place as industry standard than you think. So really, really solid stuff. Oh, you got a little recruiter there, Alex.
Can I just add in on there as well?
All right.
Alex, for you, like I was speaking to someone today actually called Alex, and we were talking about the same thing, because he was talking about FOMO, and I used to have serious FOMO, because growing up as a kid, I used to like never get invited to like occasions, events with friends and everything, and all these kind of things, and like I brought that into my trading. So I figured that the best way around it was that there's a difference between knowing something and actually experiencing it, as Mark mentioned. So knowing and experience, two different things. So like I said, we can read all these books, we can watch anything we want, we can speak to whoever we want, we can get the best advice in the world and all these things, but that's only in the knowing part. But then you actually have to apply that when you're creating a plan of action. And I'm really big on plan of actions, because without them, we don't have a way to move forward. So I think the best thing to do is acknowledge why you're missing the trades. Once you got that down, then it's like, okay, how can I mitigate against this next time? And that's the best thing you can do, really.
Yeah, spot on, Ibby. Really, really solid points. You've gone through a lot in terms of like from Ibby, from I remember, you know, the meetups in Manchester, all that type of stuff. Like your growth since then is you've just gone through so much. It's so good to see you come out. Every single time you've gone through any level of friction or struggle, you've always come out on the other side. I would be curious to hear your thoughts on that, how that felt when it is difficult. Because look, it's easy to be positive when things are going well. What about when they're not going well? How did you get yourself out of those holes?
Initially, I never used to speak to people. That was my flaw, because I work better in solitude. I work better on my own, is what I convinced myself of initially. And the reality of it is that we all need help one way or another at one point. This is why I don't believe in the idea of self-made, etc. But the time that I did actually grow the guts to actually go and speak to people and start to realize that, hold on, the mistakes I'm making and the struggles I'm going through, other people are going through as well. It starts to put a lot more peace in your mind, a lot more comfort in your mind. But I started to over time perceive it as any struggle that you go through, any setback, it's sort of like a detox, like an emotional cleanse that you're going through. And every time you go through it and you come out better and you fail forward and effectively while you're actually going through a tough time, you'll always come out better, and then you can see things a lot clearer. You can start to act a lot more clear, and your actions and decisions are a lot more clearer every single time around. The problem comes when you go through a difficult time and you let it consume you. There's been times where I'm like, I ain't getting over this for like weeks, and then a day later I'm fine again. I'm like, am I bipolar or something? What's going on here? And there will be times where, like, and I'm sure many people have experienced this, where you're so indulged in your trading that one bad trade, or one losing trade even, doesn't mean it's a bad trade, but one losing trade can send your mood from amazing to through the bottom, which is not healthy. And then the next day you can have a winning trade and you're back to 100 again. And you genuinely question if you're bipolar or not. And I laugh about it, but I'm sure we've all gone through this, or you probably are going through this now. But it's very difficult to see lessons in the moment. And I don't think anybody in here has the ability to see the lesson in the moment straight away. I think that comes in hindsight. And hindsight usually can be, for some people, the best teacher in the world. For me, it was, because I had to make plenty of mistakes to figure out in the end that I'm not making these mistakes again. Don't think that you have to be 100% positive all the time. It's actually, in my opinion, unhealthy, because if you try to force that on, you're bringing on false emotions and you're going to make decisions that aren't in congruence with yourself. So I just say, be yourself, enjoy it. And I can say the whole don't forget why you started, which is very true. But in the moment, you gotta understand that today is the only day that you promised. You're not promised tomorrow. So just make the most of it. And I swear that's the best way you can honestly make progression in this game, I found anyway.
Definitely some very wise words there. And you can just sense how much you've gone through.
Can I jump in, Mark?
Yeah, go for it, Zahat.
I know Alex mentioned about FOMO, and that's something I experienced as well in my journey. And through my ASRs, it was a common theme. So the way I dealt with it for myself, I know we have pre-trade checklists, but what I did is essentially just printed it out, and it was physically in front of me. So when I would take a trade, I would go through it and tick off all the important questions that I need to ask. And just going through that process will give me like a couple minutes just to like calm my mind, calm my brain down and execute the trade. And another thing I think that really helped me was the one-on-one coaching sessions that I had with Neil, just going through my trades and Neil explaining how he would take it. You start to think like a proper full-on full-time trader, just the same way in the FX Live in the mornings when we jump on in the morning, and the coaches, Neil, Benny, would go through their daily watch list. The way they approach it, some of the questions they ask themselves, like just pick up on those things, and you start to just believe that you are a full-time trader, and you know it's there in it. You don't have to achieve it. It's there. You are a full-time trader, and just be present with it.
Firstly, thank you for the really kind words, Sir Hat, as well. But
You're welcome.
I think, and I can explain this for everyone, that Sir Hat is an incredibly talented Forex trader who can read the charts really, really well and would take a whole handful of really, really good trades. But then that FOMO would jump in, right? And you just take a whole handful of trades that you know yourself that you shouldn't be in. And all it was that we had to do to get you back on track and get you moving forwards was it wasn't me teaching you anything about the technicals whatsoever. It was just about what you do or what you don't do before you press buy or sell. And as soon as you manage to catch yourself and have that net there to catch you before you impulsively make a decision, it turned your trading around. And I think that's the case for a lot of people within the community. I think there's so much material we have on the dashboard, and there's so much opportunity to interact with Mark, Benny, myself, Ibi, Abdu, and other very, very high level traders that people know how to trade. It's just when they're on their own and there's no one there around them, there's no one that they can ask a question to or looking over their shoulder, they impulsively make decisions. And if you can kind of become your own boss in a way, where you're completely only accountable to yourself and you can put a process in place to make sure you're doing the right things every single time and you're not doing the wrong things that you know deep down you shouldn't be doing, then it will transform a lot of people's trading. So that's why it's only 10% technicals and it's 90% psychology. That's why we talk about the psychological side of this so much.
Yeah, spot on, Neil. Isn't it comforting knowing that sometimes it's as simple as that? Like what tweak is it going to be for somebody else? It's going to be different for every single person. But it's so good knowing that it's not this big, complicated thing. It's normally like the smallest of thing. You just got to find whatever that is. And if it means something really tedious as to literally looking at your trading plan, like most people are very rarely going to get their trading plan, cross-reference it and go, yep, that's setup number 4. I'm taking that. They just won't do that. Yet sometimes it's absolutely necessary to do something tedious so then you can break through and develop the habit, and then you do it like a second nature.
I want to say thank you to the coaches, to you all, which are sharing so much value and so consistent day for day, week for week, month for month. And I just realized, so if I look back when I joined to now, so you really changed my life, because I see my life in a different way. Even the people which work behind the Falcon, like Alex, I don't know if he's here. Just say thank you all, really, which every people which is sharing so much value. I think if we look that we as a community together, how many hours we are working, much a different level if we compare us in this industry. So we are really serious, and just to say thank you every day, the motivation, the value, the knowledge which we can take from it. So now I'm more neutral and I'm more relaxed, not so emotion attached. I see things more in a long way run, so long term, and it helps me even for the private life so much. And it's just something which I wanted to add, and I hope we can grow much more in the next couple of years.
100%, Levy. That's spot on. Thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. And when you speak about that stuff, that is at the core of what Falcon is about. That is what it is. I was actually thinking about this today. Funny that you said that. I was thinking about psychology, thinking about technicals. The reason why stuff like this, like E-Meetups, are so important, and just even in-person meetups when we can do them, is that it's not going to be, like in the long run, it won't be technicals and just psychology that gets you to those levels, that keeps you going when times are tough. It's going to be the people that are around you that are either on the same journey as you, similar level, or much further along, and they want you to succeed. Like almost unspoken accountability, because you're all working your ass off, and this community it's got sickening work ethic. I mean, that's abundantly clear. It's stuff like that where you're someone else is putting in the work, they're doing everything they can to grow, succeed, go through that. So why not you as well? And then when you see those people level up, and you either chat to them on a call, see them at a meetup, see them in person, see them get funded, scale, quit their job, like all these little things, that is what it comes down to. And that's what I thought of when I very first started this project in the beginning. Is yes, there's going to be lots of resources, and we're going to build an incredible team. We're going to attract all these incredible people. But what's going to take that to a whole new level is the support everybody gives each other in the right moments at the right time. So thanks so much for mentioning that, Levy. We appreciate it. But guys, this E-Meetup has flown by. If anybody has any questions, of course, feel free to ask. But this has been awesome. It really has. The last one that we had since now has felt quite far apart. So good to see that everybody's jumping in, growing, pushing themselves. Markets have obviously shifted a lot, even since we had the last meetup as well, but we've been sensing that for a while. So good to see that happening. And for those of you that maybe didn't speak in this one, make it a goal for next time. And big props to everybody for speaking up. So guys, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the insights. That was an incredible e-meetup. That's literally just thrown by. Literally, what is that? 2 hours. 2 hours is literally thrown by. The conversations that we had there about scaling up, all these psychological things, and where the growth of everybody's at. It's so cool to see people smashing it, thriving in these conditions as well. And just overall, as you could hear from the feedback, it's just a breath of fresh air to be surrounded by people that really want it, really want to put the work in. They understand what they're part of, the resources that they have, and they literally give it their all. They work their ass off day by day. For myself and the team, as to what we've created here, that is what fires us up every single day, knowing how serious people take it. And that encourages us to put even more and more emphasis in, which is why we're constantly innovating. I genuinely feel like, again, I always feel pumped up after having these e-meetups, connecting with people in the community, because that's what it's all about. It's not just about technicals and mindset. It's about the people that you impact, right? It's about their lives changing and seeing that growth, being able to see them quit their job, get funded, all of these things. Like, it's such a good feeling. It's hard to put into words. So it's my pleasure, and I'm so grateful to have such a special community in this industry where, yes, it can be very egotistical, which is why from day one was my big thing in Falcon of leave your ego at the door, leave your ego at the door, because it will humble you in seconds, right? It will destroy your career. And if you can do that, you can be open-minded and you can put the work in like these guys and girls, you can level up and growth is inevitable. So hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Can't wait to see you on the next one. Take care, everyone.